I, oh, hi everybody. Welcome back for another amazing video today. Woohoo! Wow, these shapes look very nice. Wait a minute. What are they again? Oh, that's a very great question. This is a rectangle because it has 1, 2 long sides and 1, 2 short sides. 2 long sides and 2 short sides. Oh yeah, I get it now. Which means that this must also be a rectangle because no matter if it's horizontal like this one or vertical like that one, they are both rectangles. All that matters is 2 long sides and 2 short sides. Sorry. They are straight, but short sides, 2 short sides and 2 long sides make a rectangle. And yes, the 4 sides have to be straight. And these are squares. Squares are actually a special kind of rectangle that have all their sides the same length and have all 4 points the same measure. So this is a square and this is a square. All that matters is 4 straight sides, 4 equal points. Oh yeah, that's right. So today, we are going to be learning about squares and other rectangles and which shapes are not rectangles or squares. Let's begin. What shape is this one? Oh, someone new is coming. It's Roto. Hi, Roto. Roto is collecting shapes in his brand new shape collection. Wait a second. This is not a rectangle or a square. Huh? Yes, Roto. That is a triangle because it has 3 straight sides and 3 corners. This is not a rectangle or a square at all. Not a 4-sided shape. Oh, yes, that's right. And any 3-sided shape is not a rectangle or a square. So, let's look at this one. Well, to figure out what that shape is, we could simply just detach one of the rectangles and see if it's a square or not a square. Oh, wait a second. This does appear to be a square because it has 4 sides the same length and 4 points the same measure too. So yes, this is a square. And all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. Be careful, guys. All squares are rectangles because they have 4 sides and 4 corners, the same exact thing. However, not all rectangles are squares because some rectangles, like this one, are elongated and have 2 short sides and 2 long sides. But the points are still equal to each other. It's just the sides that are different of this rectangle. This rectangle, however, is a square because everything is equal. So, yep, we could say that this is a square. This is a square. What about this shape? It looks very odd. Oh, what are you saying, Roto? Oh, Roto's right. Roto said that although this may not look like a square, it is indeed a square. Because if we tilt a square, it appears to match up with this shape. So, yes, it is a square. Plus, if we double check 1, 2, 3, 4, all of the sides are of the same exact measure, and all of the angles are also of the same exact measure. So, this is a square. Yes! But what about this one? Is it a square? Roto's right. This is not a square or a rectangle because it is an open shape, meaning that its starting point and ending point start and end at different locations, leaving an opening. So, open shapes cannot be classified as polygons. So this is not a square or a rectangle. This is just an open shape. Well done! And we already know that this one is a rectangle. 2 short sides and 2 long sides. We already mentioned that. But this? No way! There is no way that this could be any 4-sided shape, because this shape has too many sides. It has 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This shape has 6 sides, and any shape with 6 sides is a hexagon. But a hexagon is not a square or a rectangle because it doesn't have 4 sides. So this is not a 4-sided shape. But this is a 4-sided shape because 2 long sides, 2 short sides. This is a rectangle. And this, I don't know how this is even possible. Look at this. Look at this shape. Guys, does that look like a square or a rectangle to you? No, it doesn't. It kind of looks like a triangle. That's right. It is a triangle because it has 3 sides and 3 corners. So, this is a triangle, not a square or a rectangle. But this is a rectangle because 1, 2 long sides, 1, 2 short sides. So this is a rectangle because no matter what color the shape is, it is still a rectangle because color does not change its shape. Colors do not change any geometrical shape. So you should know that. If we change the color of this rectangle from blue to red, it is still a rectangle. The color has nothing to do with it. The sides play a major role instead. Because if there are 2 long sides and 2 short sides, it's a rectangle. But if it's blue or red or green or whatever, it is still a rectangle. Because color does not affect how its shape is changed. Draw the shape. 4 sides and 4 square corners. Wait a minute. What is a square corner? Good question. A square corner is any corner that appears in a square, hence the name square corner, or a rectangle. So, basically, a square corner is a corner that could appear in a square or a rectangle. So, 4 square corners are basically 4 corners over there. Which shape has 4 sides and 4 square corners? Let's see. We definitely know that it's not a triangle because they have 3 sides. So they are not squares or rectangles. However, if you look over here, we could connect them together. We could count their sides. 1, 2 long sides. 1, 2 short sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 sides, so it is a 4-sided shape. And if we check, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 square corners as well. So we could say that one shape that has 4 sides and 4 square corners could be a rectangle, like this. See, look, 2 long sides and 2 short sides, and 4 square corners. We could match it up like this, although this is way too big. However, this one is a little different because it says 4 sides the same length and 4 square corners. Well, that's kind of easy as well, because if we look, at this shape, it has 4 sides of equal length and 4 equal square corners. So, we can say that a shape that has 4 sides the same length and 4 square corners is a square, obviously, because it has 4 sides the same length and 4 square corners. So we could say that this is a square. You guys are getting the hang of this. However, that we are only warming up. Sort the shapes into 3 groups: squares, rectangles that are not squares, or shapes that are not squares or rectangles. So, if we look over here on this first shape, we can see that this appears to be a square. So, this goes into the squares box. However, if we look over here, there are 2 sides, 1 vertical side, but then there is also 1 diagonal side. I don't think squares or rectangles have that diagonal side. So, this shape is not a square or a rectangle at all. It's actually a trapezoid. But since we're in first grade geometry, we're going to put things simple and say that it is a 4-sided shape. This, I don't know how this could be a square or a rectangle at all. Guys, polygons cannot have curves, right? This is not a square or a rectangle at all. Kind of looks like a puddle or a splat. This does have straight sides, but this is not a rectangle or a square either, because it is an open shape. It has an opening. So it's an open shape, but not a rectangle or a square. So this is not a rectangle or a square at all. However, what we do know is that if we tilt this shape, it kind of looks like a rectangle. 1, 2 long sides, 1, 2 short sides. So we could say that this is a rectangle that is not a square. Because be careful, its sides are of different lengths. And it has 4 square corners. So this is a rectangle, but not a square. And if we look over here, this is also a rectangle that is not a square. Because if we look here, there are 1, 2 short sides and 1, 2 long sides and 4 square corners. So this is also a rectangle that is not a square. A rectangle that is not a square is called an oblong. But again, we're in first grade geometry, so we're going to put things simple. Let's just say it's a rectangle. And then this appears to be a square. A very tiny, tiny square. Because if we look here, 4 sides appear to have the same length, and there are 4 square corners. But, is it really a square? Well, let's double check to make sure. If we tilt it this way, this looks like a square too, because all 4 sides are the same length. So basically, we can conclude that yes, this is a square. So this is a square. This is a square. This is a rectangle that is not a square. This is also a rectangle that is not a square, but could appear to be a square. This is not a rectangle or a square. This is also obviously not a rectangle or a square. That is not a rectangle or a square. And that is a square. So, yes, what we do know about a lot of different shapes is that they must have sides, not curves, and not openings. So, yep. Check understanding. Draw a rectangle. Explain how you know that it is a rectangle. Okay. Someone drew a rectangle. I think this is a very good example because it has 1, 2 long sides, 1, 2 short sides. This is a rectangle. And they said it's a rectangle because it has 4 sides and 4 square corners. So yes, well done. This is a rectangle because it has 4 sides and 4 square corners. So, yes, that is a rectangle. Okay, that is it from us today. I hope you enjoyed this video about squares and rectangles, and how all squares can be special kinds of rectangles, but not all rectangles could be squares. See the difference? Look. They don't appear to be the same shape, do they? 4 sides the same length and 4 square corners makes a square. However, 2 long sides and 2 short sides with 4 square corners make a rectangle. But a square is a special kind of rectangle because it has 4 sides the same length and 4 square corners. A square is a special kind of rectangle because it has 4 square corners, just like a rectangle has 4 square corners. So basically, that's how a square is a rectangle. It's a special kind of rectangle that has 4 sides the same length and 4 square corners. That is a square. A rectangle has 4 square corners and could have 2 long sides and 2 short sides. Rectangles do not always have to have 4 sides of equal length. That would be a square. But rectangles that have 2 long sides and 2 short sides are rectangles but are not squares. So, this is kind of confusing, but easy enough for you guys to understand. And we all should know that any shape with 3 or more sides than 4 is not a square or a rectangle. So any shape with 3, 5, or more sides is not a square or a rectangle because it doesn't have 4 sides. For example, this is not a square or a rectangle because it has 3 sides and 3 corners. And they are not even classified as square corners. So, yeah, the corners are not square. So, we could conclude that this is not a square or a rectangle. It's a triangle. All right, that's it from us today. I hope you enjoyed this video about squares and other special kinds of rectangles. Because remember, all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. Bye, everyone! Bye!